If your workout plan only works on perfect days, it's not a good plan. Real adherence is about whether exercise survives bad sleep, busy schedules, and low energy. Every January, people commit to workout plans that look impressive on paper. 5 days a week at an intensity that'll get you fit by March, but by February, most of them are done before the benefits even kick in. Hi, I'm Dr. Jake. In my last video, we covered what motivation actually is and how it really works. Today, we're extending that topic into what science says about turning that motivation into long-term exercise adherence. In other words, how to design your routine so exercise stops feeling like a constant negotiation and starts feeling automatic. By the way, thanks to Bearfang Media for suggesting a world map on the back wall. I had this one I got from my mom on hand. What do you think? One of the biggest myths in fitness is that success comes down to motivation. But motivation's unstable. It fluctuates with stress, sleep, work demands, and the chaos called life. And research consistently shows that motivation alone is a poor predictor of long-term physical activity. Studies in health psychology have found that what actually predicts adherence are things like habit strength, identity, and environment, not how motivated someone feels on a given day. In fact, people who stick with exercise long-term don't necessarily feel more motivated. What they do feel is less internal resistance because the behavior is already integrated into their lives. So instead of asking, how do I stay motivated? The better question is, how do I make exercise easier to repeat? And this brings up a counterintuitive finding from exercise psychology and the first key to exercise adherence. And that is, people are more likely to stick with exercise when they begin below their physical capacity, not at it. Talk about setting a low bar, but in this case, it's a good thing. Research studies show that exercise experiences that feel overly intense, painful, or exhaustive create negative effect, and negative effect strongly predicts dropout. On the flip side, studies show when early sessions are manageable, even easy, adherence improves, even if progress is slower. Physiologically, excessive early fatigue increases stress hormones and makes recovery longer and harder. Behaviorally, it sends a message to the brain that this costs more than it gives. So one key to exercise adherence is to end the workouts with the thought, I could do that again, not I barely survived. A second key to developing an exercise habit is understanding that frequency is more important than intensity. Habit research shows that behaviors that happen in the same way, in the same situation, over and over again, are the ones that eventually run on autopilot. A large study by Lowley and colleagues found that habits develop through repetition, not effort. In other words, frequent short bouts of activity strengthen the brain's cue behavior loop by repeatedly pairing the same trigger with movement. So exercise shifts from something you decided to do into something your brain expects you to do. That's why walking for 10 to 15 minutes most days is more powerful for adherence than crushing workouts once or twice a week. Intensity can always be layered after exercise becomes habitual. If you like what you're hearing, click like and subscribe. Thanks. Trying to exercise to your identity, not expected outcomes, is the third key to sticking with exercise. Outcome goals like weight loss or fitness improvement are important, but they're unreliable drivers of adherence. Outcomes are slow, they fluctuate, and early on, they're often invisible. Research on identity-based motivation shows that behaviors aligned with identity are more persistent than behaviors driven by external outcomes. When people see themselves as physically active, exercise stops becoming a constant decision and starts becoming an expected behavior. Instead of thinking, I exercise to lose weight, think I'm someone who moves regularly, and the weight loss will come with help from a healthy diet. Studies in social and behavioral psychology consistently show that identity-driven behaviors require less conscious effort and persist longer under stress. You know, the things life throws at you just about every day. Key number 4 is autonomy. One of the clearest patterns in exercise adherence is that people stick with movement longer when it feels self-chosen rather than imposed. Self-determination theory shows that when people feel they have control over their exercise choices, adherence improves. When exercise feels imposed, even if it's initially effective, over time, dropout rates rise. Large reviews in behavioral nutrition and physical activity show that enjoyment and personal choice predict long-term participation better than program design, meaning the latest trendy workout routine won't do anything for you if you don't enjoy it and want to do it. So don't fall for what people call the perfect program, because there isn't one. Find one you'll actually do. That's perfect for you. The fifth key point is that adherence isn't just psychological, it's also environmental. Public health research consistently shows that access, convenience, and environmental design strongly influence physical activity level. People who exercise regularly reduce barriers by incorporating shorter travel time, routines anchored to daily life, and visual cues like the following: having work clothes laid out, shoes placed by a door or desk, a resistance band or dumbbell left where you can see it, a calendar or habit tracker displayed predominantly, or a recurring phone or watch reminder. Incorporating cues like these these and others into your daily life? Develop environments that consistently outperform willpower in long-term behavior change studies. If movement is easy to start, it's easier to sustain. The sixth key is acknowledging that missed workouts are inevitable. Life interrupts everyone. What separates people who stay active from those that don't isn't perfection. It's how quickly they return after a miss. Adherence isn't about never falling off. It's about shortening the gap between interruptions and your next session. Tracking how often you come back, not how often you miss, keeps the focus on consistency rather than guilt. So exercise doesn't work because you're pushing harder for a few weeks. It works because you've stayed in the game long enough for your body to adapt. When movement fits your life, respects your limits, and repeats easily, adherence takes over. And once adherence is there, progress becomes inevitable. If you design for consistency first, all the good things you expect will follow. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who you think might benefit. And as always, my answers come from peer-reviewed research.